Hi there, in this screencast I'm going to show you how to make the chips appear in the correct spot when the user plays. So in other words, if no one has played in a column and the user drops their chip in there, it should go all the way down to the bottom. However, if they're like, for example, two chips are in the lowest spots, it should go all the way down to basically row 3 and play there. So we need to incorporate the logic into the event handler for the play button so that um, that's going to work that way. So let's look at making the event handler for the C1, the column 1 play button. And then the other ones are of course going to be similar. You're just going to be looking at different picture boxes instead of the ones in column 1 or the column 0. Oh, and you know what? I just noticed that really to be consistent, I should not number these this way. Let me label them C0. Then this one will be C1. Then C2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. That's better. Okay, and then this button should actually be 0, not 1. Alright, so I need to go in and do that. Alright, so, and now let me get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the C0 event handler. So now let's think about it. How can we tell where we want to play the chip? Well, we can check to see what the background color of the picture box is. So the first thing we want to do is check to see if no one has played at all in the column. So if no one has played at all, then the very bottom one is going to be blue, and that's the place where we're going to want to play the chip. Otherwise, if only one person has played, then this picture box will be blue, and that's where we want to play the chip, and so on. So if I go into my code, then I'm going to have an if statement that's going to say, okay, if let's see, row 5, column 0, if the back color of that is color dot blue, well, that means we need to play a tile there based on whose turn it is at the time that was clicked. So I'm going to say if whose turn it is equals red, then I will what? Not in is, it is. Then I'll say PB 50 dot back color equals color dot red. Where those square brackets came from. Else, what? It must have been yellow's turn. PB 50 dot back color equals color dot yellow. There. Alright, so if that one wasn't blue, then we're going to check to see if the one above it was blue. So I'm going to say else if, and what would the one above it be? It would be PB40. So I can pretty much just copy and paste all of this. And then replace 50 with 40. And so on. With 3, then 2, and then 1, and then 0. And then 0. Okay, now you may say, well, what happens if if none of them are blue? Well, in that case, we don't want anything to happen. Okay, because the user can't play there, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the change turn method after the user has played. So I'm going to add change turn to each spot. Now you may say, well, why don't you only add it once at the end? Well, we don't want to add it at the end because of the case where the user clicked on the button but they weren't able to play, or there was no place for them to play, in which case we don't want to change the turn. It will still be their turn until they finally, click on a column where they can play. Alright, so let's see if this works. I should get alternating reds and yellows going right up the line. Yep. And then notice if I click the button again, then when there's no place to play, it does not change whose turn it is. Okay, so we need the same code for the picture boxes, C1, 2, 3, the columns, the buttons, I should say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, just so you know, there's a much more efficient way to write this project involving a type of data structure that you don't know you're not familiar with yet. But we're just going to write it, even though there's going to be a lot of repetition in code. We're just going to write it the simple way that does not involve this kind of data structure, which we will learn about around Christmas time. All right. So in all of, let's see, so I'm going to quickly, so this is the column 1. So if you look, you'll notice it's 0 dot. I want to make that be 1 dot. So I'm going to do edit replace, and I'm going to replace 0 dot with 1 dot. Okay, so now let's see if the 1 column works too. Yep. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it again. This time I'm going to replace 0 dot with 2 dot. and do the rest for the other ones as well. Three, and then I think let's see, and then 4, 5, and 6. So this is 4. Oops. I'm looking at the one above it, and it should be 3, and it's not, so I must not have changed it. Yeah. Two, 1, 0. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what's wrong with PB34. Maybe I forgot to name PB34. So that should be row 3, column 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did PN34 typo. So let's change that to be PB34. Okay. All right, that's better. Okay, and then I want to do, let's see, this is 5. So I'm going to do 0 dot with 5 dot. And then lastly, the 6th column. Alright, so now I should have a game board that you can play in, and the appropriate tile gets added based on whose turn it is and in the appropriate location. Alrighty.